Hello friends, welcome to my channel, and today I will teach you what are variables and what are data types. So last time I taught you how to install Python and PyCharm in Mac OS, and we also wrote our first script. We wrote print hello world. So in this video I'll teach what I had wrote there and many more. So let's go, and I will open my PyCharm here. So I have opened my PyCharm here. I have just, and I will open my first hello.py. You can see that last time we wrote this, we wrote print hello world, but what was happening that time? So here print is a function, so you will get to know what are functions, but first of all you should know that print is a function. So when you do this, you gave two brackets, because function, when you call a function, then you have to give two brackets like this. So like this you give two brackets, and here you gave the value. So what does print do? Print goes and like the Python goes and calls the print function and says print function, whatever the value is there inside your brackets, print that. Means print it on the console in the terminal. So let's run this first of all. So you can see that here hello world came, means it wrote hello world, and you will get a question that why I wrote this in double quotes. I can write it in single quotes also. So let me just show. So you can see that I wrote hello world in single quotes, and now let me just run it. Sorry. You can see that hello world is ran, so we didn't get any errors, right? So we can write an string in double quotes and single quotes. So now you ask question, what are strings? I said now we can write strings in double quotes and single quotes. So what are strings? You can imagine a string as alphabets. Like if you want to write any alphabet, any sentence, then you write in it as a string. It is a string. Or you can say that anything you write in double quotes or single quote is a string. But mostly we say that string is alphabet. Like if we want to write hello world, then we write it in a string. Okay. So this is what is a string. So now check. Let's go and learn what are all the data types in Python. So let me just close everything, and I've just zoomed in. You can zoom in by going to editor, general, and just check that command control. By clicking command and mouse wheel you can zoom, so it will come at, I think, the second option. I don't know, I have set it. What I'll do, I will write here a comment. So comments, okay, I will tell you what are comments here now. Comments are you can say that anything. If we write a comment in Python, it will be not executed if I write any code. Like here, if I write this, I wrote print hello world last time. So if I write print hello world, okay, and if I try to run this, you can see nothing happened. We wrote here print hello world, but nothing had happened. And you can see that the PyCharm is also highlighted it in gray color. Don't see this yellow lines, or you can just click on view format file. Nothing will happen mostly. You can see that here it has just highlighted it with the gray color, right? Means these are comments. So comments are used to give information, like if we write any function which will do something, then we can write what does it do. So that is why comments are used. So if I want to give some information, I can use comments. And another type of comment is this is a multi-line comment. So this is a multi-line comment, you can write anything. This is like same as string. You can store this in a variable also. We will talk about variables in some time, but not now. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll write this in a multi-line comment. So I'll write here data types, and the first one is string. So we just talked about string. So what is a string? Now string, you can say that a string is alphabets, right? And anything wrote in double quotes or single quotes is a string. If you write a number also, then also it's a string. It is considered a string if you wrote it in a double quotes or single quotes. And you use strings to write to print some word information. Like if you want to write hi, how are you, so then you have to use double quotes and single quotes, means you have to write it as a string. And if you try to write it as without double quotes or single quotes, then it will give an error. I'll show you. So if I try to write it as it is, you can see that it gives me an error that what are you doing, I can't understand. Okay, so python yells at me, the python also yells at me. Okay, if I run this code, then python will also yell at me. So that is why I use PyCharm, because it shows the error, what are happening, what is wrong happening in the code. That is why PyCharm is helpful. Now strings are wrote in double quotes and single quotes. Okay, and now let's go to another data type, which is our integer data type. So integer, you can say it as int. It's a short format for string. You can say it as str, so it's a short form. And here what are integers are normal 1 2 and 3, so these are numbers. Okay, so in integers, mostly you can write it without single quotes and double quotes, then only it is considered an integer. If you write words, then it will not be considered an integer. Integer will only consider numbers. Okay, so that is why if we write 1 2 3 in double quotes, then it will consider now integer also string. So I will show you how. So what can you do if you want to check a type, if you want to check the type of a thing, of a data type, then you can do like this. You can write a print function, then you can put here a type function, and you can just put the string. If let me just write a string. So let me just write hi here, and let me just print this, and let me run this. So you can see that we got str, means str is this, the first three letters, means it is a string. Okay, if I just change it to single quotes also, then also it will be a string. So let me just go here, and you can see that it is a string. If I write here a number, okay, if I write this, okay, you can see it gave me int, means it is int. And if I write this here like this, then it will give me a string. Means everything I write in a single quote or a double quote is a string. So let me show you again by using single quotes. You can see it gives me string. Means everything I write in a quote or a double quote, it is considered a string. And you can't write an word or an alphabet without a string, but you can write numbers without double quotation marks or without strings. Okay, so after strings, the third data type is float. So what is float? Float is like 2.5, 3.3. These are like a float. Okay, 2.5, 3.3, 6.8. These are floats. So let me just write it as this. Let me write some examples here. So float are mostly used if you want to write anyone's salary or some money work. Okay, like to do some money work or this rupees. Okay, so it is used. And floats are also written without double quotes and single quotes. So let me just show you. Let me just remove this. And let me just run this. You can see that it gives me the class float. So this float means this float, right? So this is a float. Okay, I can show you. Let me just write here 3.4. This will give me the same output, and you can give it as much of length. Like if I give it is like this, I will not get any errors. So this is float. Okay, Then the fourth data type I'm going to talk is Boolean. So let me just write Boolean. So what is a Boolean? Boolean is true or false. Okay, so true and false. And you can check it as by writing here like this. You can just put here true and run this. You can see it gives bool. Bool means boolean. You just remove ean, then it is as bool only. And if you write here false, and here if I run this, let me just run this. So it gives me a bool only. Okay, so now these are the main four data types we will be using mostly. So this will be used to make our first project called bank application. So this will be our first project, and in between we'll be doing some sample example code also to do some practice. Okay, so now we have learned what are data types. Okay, so now after learning data types, what we'll do now, we will know what are variables. So let me just give here as a variables. So I have given variables. So what are variables? Variables are most you can think variables as a boxes. So if you let me just give a good example for it. Think if you are shifting to house, and if you have shifted to a house, then you know that, or you have saw somebody shifting their house, then you can see that you in a box you keep in many box you keep different things, right? In one box you will keep books, in one box you will keep kitchen utensils, in one box you will keep your toys, and many more, right? So or you can keep your computer, laptop, or electronic things in another box. Okay, so in Python variables are same, that you it is a boxes and we can store any value, string, integer, float, boolean, any value. Okay, and if you are coming from Java, then you know that for writing an integer value you have to give the value, what is the value, and while changing also the value you have to, like, you go through many difficulties in Java, but Python does not helps very much, like you have to not declare that our variable is which type. So it is very good to learn Python, and it will be very helpful for your career also. So we were talking about boxes, right? So or variables. So and when you shift to a house also, you give the name of the box. In one box there will be, in this box there is a there is books. Okay, and in this box there is kitchen utensil, in this box there are toys, in this box there are electronic things, right? So like that in Python we also name it as, if let me just give an example. So here what I will write name. So I've given the box name, you can think variable as box. So I have made a box name and give write an equal to. So this equal to help us to assign the value. So now you can give as name, and now I will go here and write anything. So let's start from writing our name. So let me just write my name, which is Siddharth. Let me just write my full name. Okay, now you can see that don't look to the to this don't look to the errors. There is no error really, this is only typo, this is not a typo, this is my real surname. And here name, I'll store the value. Now if I want to write an integer value, yes you can write. So let me just write here an age, and I will give my age as like this. Now you can see that I can also store this in I can store an integer in the age. So let's now try to give a float. Let's just give a float number. You should not give like this. Okay, you will not assign ever, if you should not assign a keyword or a function as a variable like this. You can see float is in purple, means it is something that is made by Python, so we should not keep it as variable. So let's just change it to float number. So this is the thing that we can use it. So let's give it as 6.83. I'm giving a random number. Okay, and here you can see that I can store a float value also. Okay, and let's now give a boolean value. So let's write here is active, it is and random value, and let's write true. Okay, so here I have given many values. You can see that I have given the name here, and I have given the age here. I have given the float number here. I have given an integer here integer, and then string. Here I have given a boolean. And now you will ask, how can I print it? Yes, we can print it. So let me just write here print, and you have to just write your name. So you can see that I didn't use string. Okay, now it is not giving me an error. This is because we have said the Python that there is a variable name. So to access it, I will not use strings because we can access we are only saying Python that there is a variable called name, so bring it. And if we write it in a string, then it will think that it is a string, not a variable. So it will print name as it is. Means if I write like this name, if in double quotes I will write name, then it will think that okay, we have to print name, means name, this name. Okay, then it will print name here, but we don't want to print the name, we have to print this name, this value. So that is why will be not using double quotes to print the value. So let's now right click. You can see that it has given the name as my it has given my name. So our name variable, what is doing, our print statement is being called by Python, and print is saying print the value in your brackets. So it is going here in name. So he will see that name is a word, but okay, name is a word. Okay, but I can't it is not a string. So let's go through the code. It will go through the code and check if there is a variable. It will see that there is a variable name, so it will take the value here and just replace it here with the value inside. So it is what it is doing, it is simply taking the value and replacing name with this value, right? So it will put this so this big thing is being done by Python. So it is that is why Python is very easy. Now if I want to print my age, so let's just print age. Don't use double quotes. You have to don't use double quotes. You can see it is giving me 13. I can write the float number also. Let me just write float number. You can see that it is giving 6.8.3, right? And I can give is active. Okay, so I'll give it is active. You can see it is giving me now true. So you can see that it is now it is now working. It can print any value. It can print a boolean value, it can print a float value, it can print an integer value, it can print a string value also. So now our variables will help us to do many things, to store the information given by the user, and we will do many things in this course also. So, and one more thing I want to tell about variables is, anytime if you are using variable, then use words. Okay, like first, if you want to give a variable name as first, you have to write first like this. And if you if you write like this, okay, if you write and just try to assign it, it is wrong. Never assign an integer to the string, because it cannot be assigned. The first thing, it cannot be assigned. You cannot assign an integer to a string. So anytime you are signing it, then you have to use a word to sign it. If you want to give as the first person, then you can write as first. Okay, so you have to write as first, then only. Okay, and you can also not do it true and false also. If you try to assign true, then it will give an error. At the same time also, float number, sorry, not like this, 6.8.3, if I try to do this, then also it is wrong. Okay, so and after doing this, now you can see that we get error when anytime we write uh, try to assign the number, float number, or a boolean or a number, then we get an error. So you should not assign a number to a value. Okay, so after, you should now be clear with variables. And I wanted to tell also that if you want to like I want to tell that if you want to just reassign the name, if you have just given your name, then you can reassign it. You have to just give your name is equal to hi. So if I write here this, okay, so you can reassign it, but it will be reassigned and the last value will be deleted, means my name will be deleted, and in the name it will come hi. So you can see that redeclared name, then you can it has redeclared, we have redeclared name, and now if I try to print it, then I will get name. So let me just show you. I will get hi, I will not get this value, this will be deleted. Okay, same for age also. If I write age as 16, I'm not 16 years old, I'm 13 years old only. And if I write here age, okay, and if I run it, you can see that it is been again assigned. Okay, and if I write here a new float value, same will happen with float value. I write for 5.6 and write float number, float number, and here same float number, same will happen, nothing will be changed. It will give me 5.6, it will just change the 6.8.3, it will give 5.6 and float number, and here is active. If I do this and write here false, okay, I'll give here false now. And you can see that whenever I write true and false, I write as T capital and F capital. You should always write F capital and T capital. True and false are written as like that only, you cannot write as T small and F small. Okay, so now you can see that print float, let me just write is active here. Now it will give me as false, so it has given me false. So it was the thing that we can reassign. And now we have learned everything about variables. So good, we have learned everything about variables, and it is very good that we have done it everything. Now in the next video I will teach you more things, and many more will go forward in our course and make many more things. So thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.